My name is Rich Henning. I'm a senior vice president with SUEZ. I've been with the company. I was here in the inception in 1994 when we started this contract. To my right is Chris Riat. Chris is the general manager at SUEZ, and he is responsible for many of our contracts down here, one of which is Hoboken, also with Jersey City, Bayonne, Rahway, and some of the other contracts that we have in New Jersey. I understand there was certainly a press conference held here at 10 o'clock by the city. We wanted to certainly respond to some of the points that were made there. First of all, we understand that the mayor may look to go to some type of very costly RFP process to remove SUEZ. We believe that attention would be better spent on taking the money and using it in the streets. Right now, what we're finding and what we have found is a system that is more than 100 years old. Very difficult to operate and run a system that is of that age. And the difficulty that happens are main breaks. And the chart behind us here shows us that main breaks happen frequently, not just during the past 2 months of July and August here in 2018, but consistently since the beginning of this century, they've been happening, right? And very consistently in the months of July and August. In fact, the average is 5 main breaks in July and 7 main breaks averaged in August. That's 12 main breaks averaged in these 2 months for the past 18 years, not the past 2 months or 6 weeks. So when the mayor talks about, oh, the project that the Jersey City Municipal Utilities Authority is taking up not just space for people to drive by, but it's actually causing main breaks, that's far from the truth. Because the truth is that any construction project in Hoboken, any construction project in the city of Hoboken could cause main breaks. Why is that? Simply because the system is so old. 100-year-old pipes have outlasted their usefulness. And it's truthfully time for the city of Hoboken to finance and get ready to put in infrastructure that meets the greatness of this city. Now, to my right is Chris Riat. Chris has been general manager for the past 5 years, and he'll speak a little bit to the condition of the pipes that we've seen in here and the work that you're seeing right behind us that is ongoing right now, which is another system leak, basically because of the age of the system. We see these almost on a routine basis. Chris?
Hi, as Rich said, I've been general manager for the last 5 years. I've been associated with Hoboken, managing the operation here for a little over 7. It is very difficult to manage and operate something that is past its useful life. And that is the condition we find ourselves here in Hoboken. When we came, the city was much less populated and there was a lot less construction activity going on. Now you have old, crepey infrastructure that's dealing with the tremendous growth, popularity of this great city, dealing with the tremendous development going on. That is not to say that development or construction activity is the cause of these main breaks. It's to say that the age of the infrastructure, the fact that we are past its useful life is why this activity goes on. Growth and activity goes on everywhere. And if you have a system that is designed to deal with it, you have no problems. Here we have a problem because of the underground infrastructure. It is certainly not management or mismanagement of the system. We operate systems throughout the United States. In fact, we operate systems throughout the globe. I've always lived, my company lives up to their contractual obligations. We are living up to our contractual obligations here in the city. I find it disappointing that this is the turn where the city is heading, but I plan to compete and remain to serve the citizens of Hoboken. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. To put this in the correct situation, of what we're in here right now. The time is not for political rhetoric. It's not for causing blame. The time is here to invest in the age-old problem that is facing this city's infrastructure. Hoboken is a great city. It's got great residents, and these people deserve better infrastructure. They don't deserve 111 main breaks happening every year for the past 17 years. That's not what they deserve. They deserve better, and it's up to this administration to be able to provide that to them. And this administration's doing nothing but pointing fingers, and that's not the right tactic. The right tactic is to work together to make this happen. And we're ready to work with them. We've been ready. We've submitted more than a dozen plans to past administrations, including this administration's, to upgrade this system. The time to act is now. We don't have time, we don't have luxury, because we're seeing more main breaks each and every year, as you can see from the chart. Any questions?
Yes, the mayor's office says that in your closed door meeting yesterday, that you actually concluded that the cause of the breaks might be related to this water project in the Southwest.
Sure. Yeah, so I was in the meeting, and what I conceded was that any activity in the system could cause a main break. And here's how it works. A main break happens, that main break can cause other main breaks because the system is so frail. So if construction activity anywhere or any system disruption causes one main break, that can cause a number of main breaks to follow it. That would not happen in a system that was within its useful life. We have a system that's past its useful life. So any disruption. Washington Street is a great infrastructure improvement project to Hoboken. Washington Street project has and will continue to cause main breaks. That doesn't mean we shouldn't improve the infrastructure on Washington Street. Same way that Jersey City and Hoboken came to an agreement on that meter vault project. The City of Hoboken approved that project. I cannot tell you definitively what caused those main breaks, but I can tell you definitively that any disruption to the system can cause a main break.
In light of the fertility system, was it a smart project to undergo at this time?
It was absolutely a necessary project to undergo. That meter vault blew out in 2015. We're repairing it now. There's no pressure monitor there. There was in 2015. We won't be able to know what the pressure is coming into the system without that. It's useful data for Hoboken and Jersey City.
So you say you've submitted more than a dozen plans to upgrade the system. What has this administration said for any of those?
Well, up until this beta main breaks, we were in discussion to come to a new partnership.
And now they haven't approved any of your suggestions, are you saying? They say they've been giving $5 million a year based on SUEZ's suggestions.
They did recently in the last couple of years go and start obtaining funding and started making improvements like Washington Street. And those improvements are going to have disruptions to the system. Until you replace a large majority of the system, any activity in Hoboken is going to beget main breaks.
Rich, this may be a better question for you. The mayor's pretty much correcting legal action and saying if it's in the bill, we're not going to pay. Can you respond to that?
Yeah, but a threat of legal action actually illustrates how wrong this mayor is, because you're taking money that could be put into this infrastructure and you're handing it to lawyers to fight really what is a senseless case. We're willing to work with this city on improving this system. Our workers that are behind us right here, fixing this break right here, have worked tirelessly night and day to keep water running for the Hoboken residents. We love this city. It's a great city. It's got great people. It deserves great infrastructure. And it deserves the money that's going to get spent on legal action to be put in the ground.
What is the main difference between this administration and the Zimmer administration? Obviously, the true horrors of what can happen with this old infrastructure manifested themselves over that Thanksgiving weekend down south when, we saw the geyser. How was the Zimmer reaction different than what the current administration is reacting?
I don't think it's great to go back three years, because we're here in 2018. We've got a history behind us here of main breaks that goes back to 2001, and to tell you the truth, even before that. The time to act is now. The time to invest is now. And it's the only time we have right now to start fixing this problem, rather than pointing fingers of blame and looking at it from the other point of view.
But did you have this type of pushback from the administration and previous administration?
Well, I think Chris commented that we had worked on a contract that would change the parameter of this particular contract that we're under right now, and actually reinvest some of the money into the ground. That contract was not approved. Mayor Zimmer's left office, and the new mayor's in, and there's been no movement on it. A year. That's an average in Hoboken. 111. That's basically almost one every 3 days.
And so Hoboken residents are kind of exhausted at this point with SUEZ and the city pointing fingers at each other. SUEZ has been using these mains that are dated since 1897 for how long to get profits out of the city? Why haven't they been upgraded?
Very simple. The city of Hoboken owns the water system, owns the water pipes. We're a contract operator. We operate the system. Something breaks, we go out and fix it. But we don't get money unless they give it to us to go out and replace pipelines. That will cost millions and millions of dollars. And eventually that's what the city needs to do, and invest in newer infrastructure to make sure that their reliability of their water system is the best it can be.
So when you submitted these plans and said you need to upgrade the infrastructure, what has the city said back to you?
There has been no action taken from the city of Hoboken, other than some of the work that's going on Washington Street, as far as I can remember. And remember, I've been here for 24 years with the entire SUEZ contract.
So when the mains are repaired, are they essentially replaced? Is that an opportunity that you guys use to put in new mains?
Correct. You know, if you think of this, you think of this like your own house, all right? Because that's what a water system is sort of like. And if you had 100-year-old pipes in your house, anything that you might do in your house, be it a water hammer, if you shut the water down too fast at your faucet, could cause a water main break in your house. Well, unfortunately, that's what we're faced with, running a system that's got that kind of age to it. And it's past time to replace it. It's past time to start fixing it. And you know, the situation has reached a boiling point to be able to really start with solutions and not excuses.
The mayor's office also said that the ones that have been breaking recently are not even in the areas that are considered the most vulnerable. Would you say that's correct?
Chris, why don't you take that?
We've, as Rich said, we've submitted a number of plans, right? There have been a number of studies on the system, what areas are most vulnerable. Every time that you have an incident in the system, it changes the dynamic of your analysis. So if something breaks, that is new data that goes into your analysis. It redrives everything, your priorities and your planning. So a water system is dynamic, and as changes occur, you need to adjust your plan. And that's why we're here. That's what we do, what we provide. So there's always an adjustment as to priority and capital expenditure.
What effect has development had on the water system? So there's more development that is putting more pressure on the system. Has that caused more drainage?
Let me address this.
How is the city feeling with the water?
That is an excellent question, and let us address that from the beginning. When we began the contract of operating this water system in 1994, Hoboken was a city of 33,000 residents. It now holds close to 60,000. So more people, more water use, greater system use within the system. So what happens with that is that you also have more development, more construction opportunities that are happening, more vibrations in the ground, causes more main breaks. Or it certainly, on this type of system, keeps the main breaks happening at a very frequent basis because it's an older system trying to serve a large, growing population.
So you have mapped out a long-term plan to solve the problem, but that's not going to happen tomorrow, obviously. So what can be done right away to stop this high frequency?
There is no right away answer for a problem that has existed for 100 years. But the plan has to begin with a step by step by step basis. You have to start replacing pipe at a faster rate, whether it's 2 miles, 3 miles a year. You have to begin that construction process of replacing the pipes that are in the ground here, and that's the only way to truly get system reliability so residents here are not faced with so many main breaks.
And that will cause more main breaks in the interim.
Temporarily, you're right. There will be temporary inconvenience, which is probably what's happening here right now, while the improvements are being made.
Are you prepared to tell residents in this town that it's going to be worse? It's going to get worse before it ever gets better, based on what we're hearing from you at this point?
I would be prepared to tell residents that I don't know how it could get any worse if you look at the amount of main breaks they have right now. But I would tell them that system reliability is a focused, step-by-step process that has to begin, and it has to follow a number of years, and that investment has to continue. And that will begin the improvement of their water system, which will create a more reliable and safe water system for the Hoboken residents.
Do you feel based on the current contract that you have that infrastructure and funding for it to go forward? And
Let's put that again together. Our contract only calls for us to operate this and calls for us literally to do what we're doing behind us here, which is put a Band-Aid on a problem.
so there's no long-term plan in place, either proposed by the city or proposed by SUEZ as what you need from the city to get this work done.
SUEZ has proposed over the past 24 years at least 10 times capital improvement programs to invest in the city's infrastructure and begin the process of making this system better and more reliable for its residents.
Is it safe to say and fair to say that tying this up in the courts would do the residents here no benefit whatsoever? And number two, is it also safe to say that bidding for a new contractor to come in and take it over with less experience, with less knowledge of the inner workings underground here, that would also be somewhat disastrous for the residents here? Your opinion?
It is absolutely no doubt a losing proposition. It's lose-lose for the residents of Hoboken, the city of Hoboken, as well as us, for anybody to go out and waste their money on legal action. We can tell you right now what causes main breaks. Old pipe, 100 years old, causes main breaks. Disturbances in the ground, whether it's construction, whether it's the project that the Jersey City MUA is doing, whether it's a new shopping center being put in. Those are the types of things that when pipe is frail tends to break. That's what's causing main breaks. Pipes are more than 100 years old. We can see that. We have numbers for that. We have facts. It's that simple. And yes, it would be a lose-lose situation for legal action to take place. It would deprive the residents of money going into the ground instead of money going into the pockets of lawyers.
And the new contractor coming in?
Our contract calls for us to invest some money back into the system, mostly for main breaks. All right? Correct. Correct.
Yes, the city has recently stepped up infrastructure investment. The problem is, well, there was an opportunity. The opportunity was what SUEZ proposed, where we would be responsible for investment in the system up to an amount that was contractually agreed to. That opportunity still exists. The city just has to take advantage of that opportunity. This system is going to need tens of millions of dollars of investment in underground infrastructure to start to see the curve improve. It's not going to be a couple million here and a couple million there. It's going to be significant.
Can you tell us about this water main break here? It's the first word
Sure.
It just happened to be on the schedule. It is a minor leak that has been ongoing, so scheduled repair of a main leak.
And can you describe the pipe that you were showing earlier? Is that from this particular break?
Yes.
No, that's not from this break. That's just historic.
If you don't mind describing
Sure.
the microphone?
No. This, you have a 6-inch main, right? So those are the older mains in the city, right? Your oldest mains are going to be, on average, 6 inches, and it shows tuberculation, and it shows the where the pipe gave, which is just indication of the age and how long it's been in service.
And what break was that from? Over the summer?
No, that goes back a number of years. It's just a coupon that we have kept.
We like to keep some of the old relics just to remind ourselves of what we're digging out.
Right.
But this is actually very much part of the problem that we're seeing each and every day within the city.
There's an urban legend in Hoboken that there are wooden pipes. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, well, wooden pipes were in service in Hoboken, and it wasn't long ago during excavations we would still encounter them, some of them still in service. I don't think we've encountered a wooden pipe in the last maybe 10 years, but they're there, and they used to be in service.
Have you compared Hoboken's infrastructure investments to other municipalities of similar size and density, and is it lagging behind what other communities do?
Yes, it is lagging behind what other communities do.
Can you give an example?
I think you could get examples north and south of Hoboken.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all. This thing is heavy. My name is Rich. Henning, Henning. Chris, R-I-A-T. Right. Chris is general manager, and I am senior vice president.
Check 1 2, check 1 2.